Hey everyone, Mark here. You know that I don't normally make videos just for the sake of making videos. We do. I'll put together a video of me and Ryan talking about a film or this or that. Um, but I feel like something needs to be talked about, at least in a general sense, because I don't want to get too specific and mention outlets and people by name. But it feels like, even though we just do films here at the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast, it's we. I started noticing this a while ago, and it is the fact that a lot of critics and talking heads, loud voices, whatever you want to call them, really are in a race to the bottom. If a movie is not perfect, uh, they go out of their way to immediately to describe it as horribly as they can, to see who can have the most ridiculous take on a not perfect film, but a film that is not bad. You know what I mean? Um, and I mean, if a film is bad, say so. Say what's wrong with it, and move on. Very few movies are as bad as some of these reviews point out, or try to point out, try to convince you of their badness. Um, we here have talked about some bad films very recently, as a matter of fact, but they're bad films, and we explain why we believe they're bad films. We try not to bring politics into stuff, and all of that is what we try to do so that you guys can have an actual no shit understanding of what we think of a product. Now, taking that attitude that some movie critics have in this race to the bottom, um, I know if you're out there on YouTube and if you're a pop culture fan at all, you see all of the controversy about all of these different fandoms from ranging from Star Wars to Masters of the Universe to Marvel to whatever. Um, and it feels like there's a cottage industry of YouTube sites whose sole purpose is to latch on to any inane comment by any random person uh, about a thing, and or attempt to blow it up into a huge controversy. That is not to say that behind the scenes of certain programs there maybe not be personnel moves and yada 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 and all of this stuff. That happens. That's business, and that's creativity, and that is trying to profit off of creativity. Happens all the time. We understand that. But this race to sensationalize, um, and try to drive a wedge between fans over any particular point often manages to accomplish what these outlets say their subject matter is already trying to do, when that is not necessarily true. Um, it is it is disheartening sometimes as a critic to look and see these huge voices out there that seem to exist solely for the purpose of whipping people into frenzies over things that more than likely don't need to be presented in a way that just whips people, makes them crazy. And I kind of wish, and I hope that the people watching realize that that's what's happening. Take a step back, take a breath, think about what they're telling you is happening, and then think about how they're telling you what they say is happening. Because I promise you're going to find a lot of parallels between those two avenues, and a lot of it is just to get you to watch, to get you to subscribe, to get you to donate. Um, We here at the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast are not a big outlet. Clearly, you can look at our numbers and see it. We talk about films because we like movies. We like talking about them. We like talking about fandoms in general. We like talking about pop culture events. We like all of that. That is why we do what we do. It is certainly not to make money. And it is certainly not to artificially divide the people that we're talking to, that are hopefully looking for some decent conversation about films and the other stuff that we talk about. We try not to over sensationalize. We try not to be hyperbolic. And I hope that that is appreciated by the people that do watch and listen to us, wherever you watch or listen to us. So I just want to say out there, to everyone out there, thank you if you're watching this. Thank you if you're considering what I'm actually talking about. Thank you for being a fan of pop culture and being enamored of it as much as we are, to where you care about what's happening. And thank you for taking that breath before perhaps popping off a comment or clicking that like or clicking that subscribe, and pumping up these outlets that seem to exist solely for the purpose of getting that quick reaction, that knee-jerk vocalization out of everyone. The world is negative enough sometimes, I think. Let's try to keep the stuff that we love from having that infected by all that. I mean, there's going to be stuff in under that umbrella that we don't love, and that's okay. You're allowed to talk about it, but let's not bring all of the other extraneous garbage in first. Let's start with what we love, and let's move from there. So, thanks for listening if you've made it this far. Ryan and I will be back talking about some big movies next week. We're very excited about some of them, as you probably know. But until then, stay safe, take it easy, go see a film, and be nice to one another. Bye, everyone.